Tonight, in the hotly contested presidential race, we ask, was the Louisiana Purchase really such a good idea? Also, I get down to brass tacks with Jeff Severs to see if the state has a hidden agenda. And finally, what do WSU, the Fox Theater, and local elections all have in common? If you said nothing, you're only half right. Didn't think we'd be back? Ha! I warned you. This is the Acceleration Report. Hello, Spokane, and those of you joining us from our sister city, Nishinomiya, Japan. Konnichiwa. O genki desu ka? Thank you for joining us. Let's get straight to the news. A crew from ABC's Good Morning America traveled to Coeur d'Alene to broadcast a reproduction of the Christmas lighting ceremony at 4 a.m. Thursday, November 28th. Coordinated by Haganon Corporation, owners of the Coeur d'Alene Resort, and KXLY, the coverage of this event during a 2-hour segment brought nationwide exposure for our region. In other news, visitor spending in Spokane County rocketed to $740 million in 2006, a 7.5% increase over the previous year. Contributors to this increase were outstanding conference and convention promotion by the Convention and Visitors Bureau, opening of the new 100,000 square foot exhibition hall, and hosting the U.S. Figure Skating Championships and the NCAA Tournament. We all benefit from this business, including local governments that gained $56 million in new tax revenue. Spray Cool Technology, a high-tech company in Liberty Lake, has been selected by SRC Computers to provide the critical processor chassis for the U.S. Army's Tactical, Reconnaissance, and Counter-Concealment-Enabled Radar, or TRACER for short. This is yet another example of local company involvement in defense contracts benefiting our men and women in uniform. This is also another example of someone trying too hard to make an acronym work. Greater Spokane Incorporated has received a $20,000 grant from the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation to encourage employers to create effective and flexible workplaces. The program is called When Work Works. GSI will help local companies to improve their employee retention by conducting workshops on creative solutions in the workplace. This is another example of the Spokane region always striving to improve itself as a great place to live and work. And finally, Spokane was a finalist to host the presidential debate in 2008. And I can't wait to find out how we rate. The Commission on Presidential Debates announced the 3 sites for presidential debates last week, and I have the envelope here with me. And the winners are New York, Tennessee, and Mississippi. And why not? Just because Lewis and Clark knew that there was land on the other side of the Mississippi River doesn't mean they do. Hello and welcome back. Now, for those of you that know me, you know I have no agenda. I am here simply to report the facts and bring them to you, the viewer. However, apparently our state does have an agenda, and with me here is Jeff Severs, Chief Operating Officer of Greater Spokane Incorporated, to talk about our state agenda. Jeff, tell me about this state agenda. What is it?
You bet. Thanks, Jason. Well, Greater Spokane Incorporated works very hard within the context of our public policy arena to set a specific agenda each year before we go into a legislative session. We've been working hard over the last few months to put just that agenda together. The agenda consists of business climate issues, community projects, whether you're talking those that enhance quality of life or workforce, or perhaps access to health care. We work a whole host of different issues related to making it the Spokane area a great place for businesses to do business.
So how do you go about putting this together? How do you pull all the pieces together?
Well, as I mentioned, it takes a period of time. We actually started the process back in the August-September timeframe. We hosted an all-day session where various community partners came to us and presented their ideas on what were good priority projects or business issues that we should put in the agenda. We actually hosted a business roundtable specifically focused on business climate and what can we do with the legislature to try to help improve business climate. So we've done a lot of things to try to get the right kind of feedback in our state agenda.
Okay, you got all the feedback, you got all the people at the table. Then what? Do you take it to Olympia? Do you call someone on the phone? How do you get it out to them?
Well, one of the big ways, we take it past our Public Policy Council, which is a standing group here in the Spokane region, to make sure we've kind of gotten it right and take their feedback. We then take it to our board. The board formally approves our agenda. And then the big event for us is coming up next week, the 5th of December, where we actually do a legislative forum and reception. We'll have some various distinguished panel members, including our own Senator Lisa Brown, the Senate Majority Leader. We'll have some from outside the area. For example, Senator Jim Castema, who leads economic development in the Senate. But we bring together this panel, and then we host a reception as a thank you to all of our elected officials in the region.
And it'll be here, hosted here?
It'll be hosted here at the Davenport, and so.
I assume there's going to be more information online at greaterspokaneincorporated.org?
You bet. All
right.
The information's out there.
All right, thanks for joining us, Jeff.
Thanks so much.
Hello and welcome back. As many of you know, this is our first broadcast after Thanksgiving, also after the WSU Cougars beat the Washington Huskies, or rather beat Locker and the other 10 guys on the field. Joining me today to talk about some other things that happened around the Thanksgiving timeframe is Wayne Williams, chairman of Greater Spokane Incorporated. Wayne, what do you have for us today?
Well, Jason, real exciting opportunity happened in the last 3 weeks with us right about the time of our last broadcast, and that was the reopening of the Fox Theater in Spokane.
Oh, okay. That's been around a while, hasn't it?
It has. Actually, Frank Sinatra, before he was really found, had come through there and done some of his performances, as well as Bing Crosby and others. Today, it's the home of the Spokane Symphony, and as well as other arts organizations.
Well, very good. Now, I understand we also had the elections happen since the last broadcast. So what can you tell me about that? Any changes?
Actually, yeah, there were a couple of changes. The first change that was big for us was statewide was the simple majority rule for our education system, and that was allowing us for bond issues and that to only have a simple majority so that they can go to the community for increased tax levies and that. It was important for our education system. But impacting two local governments was with the City of Spokane and the City of Liberty Lake. In the City of Spokane, Mayor Dennis Hessian, who's done a phenomenal job for us as an interim mayor in a strong mayor system, is leaving his post, and we will watch Mary Verner come into the City of Spokane as mayor. Additionally, we have, for the City of Liberty Lake, Steve Peterson will be leaving, and Wendy Van Ortman will be joining us as mayor for Liberty Lake.
Well, very good. Well, as always, thank you for the update. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks so much, Jason.
Thanks. Thank you for joining us. You can find this video and other great information on our website at www.greaterspokaneincorporated.org. And as a public service announcement, I want to urge every one of you to take some time to brush up on your math. After all, math illiteracy affects 9 out of every 7 people. Thank you for joining us.